Hey guys, Brady at East Rosebud again. Today we're going to tie a variation of a Hippie Stomper beetle. Something a little bit different, looks a little more spent. Just a cool little variation of it. Let's tie it. We're going to tie this thing on a Firehole 419 competition dry fly hook with UTC black thread. And this is a size 12. Just start our thread and work back towards the bend. So our first material in this is going to be a piece of Loco foam. It's got a cool underbody, and then over the top it's just black. I've cut that at a taper. We will tie this going off the top of the hook, going backwards. Make sure that's lashed down good. Like so. Next we're going to tie in a piece of purple iridescent thread. Right down the side of this hook. Kind of cover up all this junk we got here. And we'll work back kind of 2/3 of the way up this hook, and we're just going to palmer this up to where our thread's at there. And we'll tie that off. Get that out of there. So now we're going to take our piece of Loco foam, fold it over, pinch it with your left hand, get some good wraps in there. Make sure you like where it's at. Then I lift this up, kind of work close to the eye, and do the exact same thing. Like that, and we're going to just smush down this excess between the body and the eye here. And then just to make it easier, I go in with my scissors and cut out a bunch of that extra stuff. And we'll shape that head in a little bit. Our next material is going to be some Flashabou. This is in a kind of a silver color. You can get a little wild with your colors here. You can do really whatever you like. We'll get a good chunk of it. And we're going to tie this material in kind of going out like it's spent. So it's going to kind of lay like this. So I'll start by laying it across the fly like that, and make sure I get that far side where I want it to begin with. Something like that. And then I'll work forward a little bit, peel my side back towards me, and get that kind of going off the side of the hook. So if you see now, it looks pretty spent. And I'll take all these fibers, kind of preen them back, and cut them to kind of just beyond the bend of this hook. And you can go in and make sure you like where they're at before we move on. Next, we're going to just take a piece of parapost and tie that in right in between our kind of our split wings there. And I'll work this up close to the eye before I peel it back, and all that does is keeps a smooth working surface for our next couple of materials. So peel that back, tie it down, and try to make this as smooth as you can. That looks pretty good. Then cut this to, you know, whatever length you like. If you like them long, have a hard time seeing them, go for it. I cut them pretty much even with that wing. Our next material is going to be some Sexi floss for legs. This is in size small. I will tie this in on my side to begin with. Turn my vise and do it on the other side. Like that. Next we're going to tie in a dry fly hackle. This is in Grizzly. Again, you can be pretty creative color-wise with this. Beetles they come in a lot of different shapes and colors, so feel free to play with whatever colors you like. I'll tie that in, cut out my stem. We're going to dub this little thorax we made before we palmer our dry fly hackle with purple ice dub. And with this many materials going on right now, you just have to be careful not to bump that dry fly hackle into a weird place or trap a leg with this dubbing, so just kind of go slow. There we go. Now we're going to again go slow, don't trap any legs. We're going to palmer this dry fly hackle. Pretty tight wraps. And we'll trap that right at the head. Get in there and cut that out. You can get in there too and kind of trim out any barbs that you caught. We will whip finish this kind of right over the foam, and you do have to be mindful. If you can look underneath this fly, it's pretty easy to jam that head, so it will likely take you a couple times to understand where you need to end it. Whip finish a couple times here, and then we'll go ahead and move into the trimming process of this fly. Start with the legs. I like to pick them kind of straight up like this, get them all together, and cut them at a taper. I like having my back legs slightly longer, so if you just hold your scissors at an angle, looks pretty good. And then I like to as well get in here and kind of shape this head. I don't like it being super square. Round it off on these sharp edges a little bit. There you have a Hippie Stomper variant that I've fished a fair amount, especially up in the mountains. It's flashy, it's bright, pretty darn fun to tie. Thanks for joining us.